Hello everyone, I'm Phoenix Tremayne, and this is my review of Love and Hip Hop, Season 3, Episode 9, Redemption Song. Just came on last night. It was something I was looking forward to. I still say Love and Hip Hop Atlanta is my favorite of the Love and Hip Hop franchise, but Love and Hip Hop New York is really giving it the college try to turn up the drama on and off screen. So I'm going to be talking about last night's episode, but I'm also going to be catching you up on some of the latest gossip. So in case you don't know about the new nude pics that dropped, or who's probably pregnant or anything like that, check out the end of this review, and we will go over this week's Love and Hip Hop gossip. This is my second review for Love and Hip Hop because I really was waiting for Atlanta, but it just started getting so good that in Real Housewives of Atlanta, my other show that I review, looks like it's starting to come to a close for this season. So I wanted to make sure I still had, other shows I want to review. This is one of them. Here we go. Now, I've watched all the Love and Hip Hop seasons, and it originally started with Olivia as one of the main cast members, but most of those cast members were fired from the show or given their own shows or whatever, and they have a whole brand new cast of people who I don't know who none of these people are. I mean, I'm not the biggest hip-hop fan, but I mean, I know who the major players are. I know the difference between Jay-Z and Nas and 50 Cent and Kanye, the big ones, versus, Consequence and Fabulous, and I mean, they pretty much stick to mixtapes for the most part. When's the last time you heard a Consequence record that was in a top 100? Hell, the Hot 200. Or, I mean, same thing, man. DC's all of them. They're pretty much using the show to try to boost their themselves up in the game and become more visual, and people know who they are, so that when they do drop music, they actually have some steam behind them. It hasn't worked for Olivia because she's dropped singles, but now they did dust Olivia off for this episode. She hasn't been seen in maybe one or two episodes, and she just goes off on Rich for putting all his eggs in one basket, getting caught up with Erica and pretty much pushing her to the side. And she decides that she wants retribution. If he really wants to make it up to her and be her manager and them to be friends again, then she wants Erica's record. Now, that really is some gangster type shit. She doesn't like Erica. They fought on the show. And she's like, well, if you really do with the bitch, give me her record. And that was Olivia's being vicious. I mean, she can't do her own shit. But Rich is kind of confusing because this is reality TV. Sometimes the editing is off. I mean, reality TV is scripted if you don't know. This is not real. Some of it's real. Most of it is scripted, talked about. I'm a producer, if you don't know. I produce shit. So I sort of look at the behind the scenes and see where, okay, those are extras and this is all a setup and this is what they're doing just to get this shot. I mean, but Rich was talking about how he wasn't sure if he should give the record to Olivia, although he's already dumped Erica and fired her, although technically she wasn't on contract, so you can't really fire somebody who's not on contract with you. Then it moves on to Tahari, Jen, and Rashida, and they come together to bitch about Rocky. So they let Winter off the hook this episode. They didn't mention Winter this episode, and they got back on Rocky's case. She's been pretty much in the clear for 2 episodes. People haven't been, bitching about her and dragging her name through the mud. So they all get together, and my only real note for this little scene was that Rashida's Ronald McDonald hair is still getting on my nerves. I've seen pictures of her with the jet black hair, same hairstyle, but different color, and she looks good. She looks damn good. But I know that she's creating a trademark with this red ass hair. But even Nicki Minaj changes up, her hair and colors, and this red shit gotta go. I'm sorry, she's a pretty girl, but this red shit gets people to talk about her, but not in a good way. And not all people talking about you is supposed to be a good thing, because as long as they're talking about you, you're relevant. But this is making you irrelevant. Although I don't know what your thing is. You do shoes or something. I don't know. Consequence and L'Oreal. Now, I think this is this kind of shit that people don't understand. Now, me personally, I'm a little bit militant. So, but I'm what I like to dub a militant liberal. So, I'm pro-black, but I'm not hate-white. So it's like I know we all gotta get along, we all gotta be together, we can all fuck each other and all that kind of shit, but at the same time, you still gotta have some pride in yourself, pride in your race, and not be putting, part of the reason why I'm not a bigger hip-hop fan is because it's been reduced to drug, sex, and rock and roll. The message of neo-soul or conscious hip-hop, which is how a lot of things started, and people still talk about the old records and the old people because their music had a message, and that message carried over. But once drugs, sex, and rock and roll took over hip-hop, it became all about shake it, bounce it, drop it, smoke this, get high, sell drugs. The message was just like all off, so with Consequence, he's even going even further. And I don't know if you think he's light-skinned, but I'm light-skinned. You may not be able to tell, I'm sure you can tell, but with the lighting, how light I am, I grew up being called Yellow Boy and White Bright, all this kind of bullshit because I'm light-skinned. I'm like light. And so I can understand L'Oreal, because we grow up and I've had black girls tell me point blank, oh, why you want to talk to me? Aren't I too dark for you? So as a black community, we already have this stigma on, even though we're the whole fucking rainbow, from light to dark, I'm being nice. We're all part of the same culture, the same group, and for you to want to come out with a hip-hop song and put a verse that says, light skin is the right skin, to me that's a career destroyer. Especially for somebody like L'Oreal who's trying to, get on point and, be that new girl out there, be the new Nicki Minaj. And when you have verses like that, Consequences, like it's going to cause a controversy, and that's what you want. You want people talking about you. But you don't want bitches hating on you because you're light-skinned. They're already going to hate on you because you're light-skinned, because you're pretty, unless you're coming at them with something they want to hear, like, fuck men, hate men. Women love that, I came and I, bust all the windows out of his car type shit. You really got to come like that, where people can relate to, he fucked me over, or I found love, or some kind of shit that makes you relatable. If you come out the gate talking about light skin's the right skin, oh, you in for some shit. And you can't be saying that shit on award shows and stuff, so no. And then Consequences married to a white girl already, a white girl who said in a previous episode that, she's going to get a job faster than Rocky because she's white. So when you've already got this stuff being put out there, you don't really want to be associated with that. And, that's all shades of wrong, pun intended. Then you've got Yandy and Mendices. They're having a date night. And, she's coming at him by his past about, Winter or whoever, Rocky, whoever it was, saying that, he fucked Rashida. They just said it right in the face. And so, how it came back to her, she's at a party, conducting business, and, here it is, coming at him, that he fucked Rashida. And he's like, that's in the past. And I'm like, the gossip part of the gossip we're going to talk about at the end of this video, is what happens next to Mendeecees. He got out of one charge, which was child molestation charges, and now he got more charges coming and more. We'll talk about that later. Then we get Rich and Jewel, which online I saw like her Twitter feed is like Mama Dollars. It's her her handle. And because the whole controversy, which we'll also talk about, Rich dick pic got leaked, probably by Erica. Rich dick pic got leaked, and him and his mother were talking about it on the Twitter, and so that's how I know he's referring to her as like Mama Dollars or whatever. But she's also his manager, which is what we found out, I think, last episode. And she puts it down to him, real. Look, Erica's limited. She says Erica's a cartoon, and you can make money off of that. Don't give the song to Olivia. She might be able to do a good job. And Rich is like, Erica could be the next J-Lo, which doesn't say a lot for J-Lo. They're both Latinas. They're both pretty. They both got nice titties. I think I see Erica's titties more than I see her ass, so I can't really say she doesn't have a J-Lo ass when they be showing it. But I guess they're right. If they put her in the studio and do what they do, I guess she can sound like J-Lo, because you don't need to be a great singer to be in the music industry now. You just need good producers. And that's not a bad thing. I don't care how the music gets made as long as it's something I like. Although I do appreciate an artist who can sing for real. Or rap for real. And then we get Rashida's charity event where she confronts Rocky, because of course we need more of that bullshit. And she said something I thought was funny when she said, if you were twice as smart, you'd still be stupid. And then mentioning her, when Rashida's like her Ronald McDonald hair, and then she's like, this weave's $1,000 a bundle, bitch. And I'm like, she's wasting her money because I don't care how much the fucking shit costs. You still look like a fucking clown on TV. And I think you'll hear that enough to try to be a blonde for a while. I don't know. I think you look best with the black hair. But whatever. Just not red. Bitch, be green. Something. I don't give a shit. But that red is not working for you. Let me see. And I'm from Baltimore, so there are chicks running around Baltimore with green hair and blue hair and rocking it like it's looks good. It doesn't. Joe goes to see his producer. I put Joe. I'm sorry. Tahiri goes to see her producer Cisco to talk about her video, and then she met with Joe when she let him hear the song. He of course gets mad because you don't know if the shit's really mastered. You don't know if paperwork's right. So you really don't let another artist hear your shit, even if you fucking them. Just like Erica says at the end of the episode, you can't trust nobody even if you fucking them. So he's mad because she let Joe hear the song. But, he's right. Keep that shit in the can. And he doesn't want Joe to be a part of the project just because Joe ain't doing shit. Nobody checking for Joe right now. So he don't give a shit. If Joe was hot, then he'd be like, you need to go talk to Joe, get him on the song. It's about him. But no. And then L'Oreal goes to talk to Rocky. Rocky ain't the bitch to be getting advice from. That's all I kept thinking. Why are you talking to this girl? I know the producers probably told you to, but still. And Rocky's a hater, and I'm sure Rocky isn't hoping L'Oreal does great things just because she's just looking for the next cat fight to start on the show. I can see Rocky and L'Oreal having it out within like 2-3 episodes. Let me see. Now, Rashida and Tahiri and talk. So, I mean, they have like a lot of little vignettes almost of little these people talking over here and these people talking over here. That's how you know it's scripted. Because they're setting you up for future episodes or future scenes down the line. Tahiri, life doesn't work in that order, in that fast. Sometimes things happen fast, a lot of things happen fast. But, it's a story that's being told, and that's how you can tell this shit's not real. Rocky, they accuse Rocky of being a hater, but all they're really doing is hating. When you sit there and you're just talking about somebody who's not there, who ain't even thinking about you at that moment, and you just doing all this, that's when you know you're hating. Okay. She mentions the threesome. So I have a segment at the end of this episode, the gossip segment, where I say I was right. And when Joe said in the previous episode that, he asked Tahiri for a threesome with Kaylin, he meant that shit. I said it, I called it, she just confirmed it. Tahiri does her, I'm sorry, I skipped Erica and Yandy. Pretty much talk. Yandy pretty much tries to talk sense to Erica. Erica seems like she's regretting her decision last episode of just telling, Richie he can go fuck himself. She gonna be alright. I'm sure at the light of day she realizes that, just doing these parties or whatever she's doing, not having a song and all of a sudden not having a song, that, at any moment he really can take what he's created for her away from her, and her opportunities are limited. Outside of Love and Hip Hop, TMZ, and the party scene, who's really checking for Erica, and how long can she do the modeling with her titties hanging out? I mean, she's getting older, so she's not 18. So Erica, seems a little more humble in this episode, or until the end, and that's when Yandy breaks it down to her that, she's taking bookings, without paying him his cut, and she delivers a different point of view, because I know from an artist's point of view and also from a producer point of view that, a lot of times, people are like, well, I gotta get my money, and if they get a job without you or something like that, they're like, well, shit, I did all that work. They don't realize all the work that goes on behind the scenes, which was very enlightening for Yandy to do. She's like, we're promoting you, we're talking about you, we're spending money on you. You may not be getting your money now, but we're putting the money up at this moment for you to get paid later. And if you make money, it's because we're also promoting you and making you relevant. So if something's coming in, we should get something. We should get our 20%. So Erica looks like, yeah, you're right. Then in the studio, we get Joe showing up at Tahiri's music video, which Joe comes off like a cold hard stalker to me. I've been stalked 3 times. I know how these motherfuckers work. So actually I've been stalked more than 3 times, and just being honest. But getting stalked is a one-way street. But I realized in this episode, Joe isn't stalking Tahiri, because she was always telling him to go away, and then and he does the same thing with her. He's always like, bitch, fuck you. Bitch, fuck you. And then she's like, oh, well, fuck you too. And then there he is, again, like nothing happened. And you can tell that's their relationship. They've got that dramatic bullshit type relationship. And what really brought it home for me was when Tahiri said, first she said, fuck off. And then she's like, if you really want to show me that, you care about me, you got to show and prove. Which gives him encouragement to come back and show and prove. So you can't say fuck me in one breath and then say, well, prove it to me that you want me in the next breath. That's some bullshit. All right, I can appreciate L'Oreal talking to Consequence about the controversial verse where he says, light is right. And she's like, I'm not backing down. He's like, I'm not backing down. So she's like, well, we just ain't gonna do this record. So I was like, good for you. Because from a viewer's point of view, from a consumer's point of view, you just pretty much won brownie points with everyone. Now you just gotta come out with some shit we want to hear. In the studio, the final scene in the studio, Erica pretty much has her meltdown when she finds Olivia cutting her song. Olivia is cutting her song, and she sounds 100 times better than Erica singing it. For the most part, I listened to it today. I went online and I saw it, and I listened to it. I think it was Bossip that was showing it, or Tattletales, or ATL, or one of them sites I go on. I was looking for some Love and Hip Hop gossip, seeing if anything new came in. And I saw Erica's song. I listened to it. Okay, I fast forward through parts of it because it's not something I could sit and listen to for a long period of time. It's like 5.5 minutes. That's way too long for somebody who can't sing. So you got 4 minutes, 3.5 to 4 minutes is what the song should be. And it should be just boom, 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 knock the shit out. She shouldn't be trying to elevate it to the next level because her voice isn't smooth like that, even with studio production. But she pretty much goes off. Olivia exits quickly, which shows you the producers of the show don't really give a shit about Olivia. Because if they did, Olivia would have stayed there and they would have had a cat fight. But I digress. Her and Rich go at it where she pretty much is trying to manipulate him. I keep getting tongue-tied. She keeps trying to manipulate his emotions, and she keeps trying to manipulate his dick. That's what I was trying to get out. So, I've been in this situation before, and as a guy, let me tell you, we do understand you're manipulating us. We know what you're doing. It's just that if we're horny and we want to fuck, we go for it. If we already fucked or we're not horny, then we're like, okay, we didn't have that shit, come up with something new. So he must have had some pussy or something because he wasn't really feeling what she was saying. All the same crying shit. Like, if you that kind of person that's kind of using, manipulating somebody and you're like throwing in your past and all this kind of shit, you gotta hold some shit back so you can throw some new shit out there for somebody to think about. Because you can't keep talking about the same shit. You can't be talking about I'm doing this for me and my child because people get tired of hearing that shit. Because sign a contract. I'm a producer. If you want to do something for me, sign my contract. It's bottom line. I have contracts ready to be printed. I'll type your name in, change the date, bam. Now I can film. Now I can do photography for you. I can film for you. We can do a video. We can do whatever. But we're not going to do shit until you got paper. Now, what he should have done if he was smart is before we go in the studio, you got to sign this paper. If you don't want to sign this paper, then I can't do nothing for you, but you can suck my dick. And I'll give you a couple dollars. And she would have been like, okay. And she would have signed the paper. But that was it for the episode. Erica storms out. Rich looking crazy, like, oh, I think I went too far. The pussy must be good because he is whipped. Even as he comes off strong, like, I don't give a shit. We see in the very next episode, she's all up in his room, taking off her coat, showing like lingerie or whatever, and he's smiling like, oh, what you doing? What the fuck do you think she's doing? She's trying to get a record. And here's the thing. Because we're watching a show in the past that, we're watching as if it's happening now. But, things are happening right now, like her single dropping. So it's hard to feel like drama from, will Olivia get the song or will Erica get the song? Well, Erica got the song because I just listened to the single. So, Erica and Rich are going to get back together. So it's not a whole lot of drama wondering what's going to happen next. So in the next episode, you got Rocky crying about her reputation. And you got Tyree having some family drama. And then you got Erica seducing Rich and his mother talking to Erica like, you can't fool me. And then you got Mandisi proposing. There I go being tongue tied again. You got Mandisi's proposing to Yandy. And let's get to the gossip. Okay, this is my gossip segment, Love and Hip Hop gossip segment. Hopefully you like the review. And I've gone over the internet looking up different things to see what kind of news is going on in the Love and Hip Hop world, just to give you a little something extra. The first thing is a section I want to call I Was Right. Now, if you watched my review last week, you heard me say some pretty raunchy, nasty things about Rich Dollars and Erica Mena. And I can't remember what I said, but I basically said that, he's not holding it down in bed, really dick whipping her because she's such a wild girl. She really needs a guy who's really going to put it down to the point where she feels whipped, not the other way around. And so I was saying there was just something not happening right. And I even gave some tips on what he should do in order to whip her appropriately. And this week, Rich Dollar's nude pic leaked. Wow. It's like Love and Hip Hop. It's like Leak City. Way back when, last season, on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, you got Jocelyn and Stevie J nude pics leaked. A lot of the girls, like even Joe's girlfriend, Kaylin, her nude pics leaked. You got Joe was the first guy of New York who his nude pics leaked. And here's the thing about nude pictures. I mean, once upon a time, it used to be your nude pic leak and you're screwed. Your career is over. But now it's like part of daily business. And you can tell when somebody leaks it on purpose and when, they don't. Like Chris Brown, I think you kind of leaked it on purpose. Rihanna, I don't think you leaked yours on purpose, but so many nude pictures of you have leaked, I think you just don't give a shit. So basically, Rich Dollar's nude pic leaked, and he did claim the pictures. He said, those pictures are mine, but the dick isn't. So he's claiming that the dick in the picture isn't his. Now, I'm a photographer, so I can look at that picture and tell it's not doctored. I mean, sometimes it's really hard to tell, but this is a really crystal clear, smooth picture. I mean, I ain't gonna say I looked extra hard, but it was just pretty obvious that he says, okay, the pictures are his, but the dick has been changed, and you can really tell, like, who's got a dick pic leak now that's not real? One of them R&B singers. Not Omarion. I think Omarion's might be real. It was a little questionable, but I haven't heard him come out and say it wasn't him. Because usually if the guy who gets his dick pic leaked has a big old dick, he claims it, and he claims it quick, like Jamie Foxx. He's like, he wasn't going to say it, but then he was like, yeah, that's my dick. Chris Brown, yeah, that's me. And then you got Rich Dollars and Joe Budden, and it's like, no, that ain't me. That's my picture, but that's not my dick. So, come on now. Both of the pictures look real. Joe's is a little questionable just because of the lighting, that it could have been changed, but chances are I haven't seen Tyree or Kaylin or anybody coming out like, no, he's hanging like a horse. So I think Rich Dollars, he might be a horny little motherfucker and fucking as many bitches as he can, but I think he may not be holding it down, because if you got a little dick, you're going to have to know how to work that shit, and need a lot of pussy so that, you have a good reputation out there. And I can say that God has blessed me with the ability to write, the ability to adapt to most situations in life, and he's given me a big old dick. So that is not a problem I've had to encounter. So, Rich, I hope you take some of my advice from the last video, if you watch my videos, and, you got to put it down on Erica real nasty, like, and follow my instructions, and you'll see in next season of Love and Hip Hop, she will be chasing you, and she will be like your bitch. But that's why I say I like to call this section I'm Right, because once I saw that picture, I knew why she's the one in control. Then you see Joe and Kaylin. Last week when Joe and Kaylin, when Joe asked Tyree for a threesome, she was like, "I know you're not serious. You're joking, right?" And Joe looking at her like, "Bitch, ain't like we had threesomes before." And so they kind of left it like, he was ambiguous, like maybe it was a joke. Because he was obviously high or on some shit because he wasn't acting normal. And then, I see these freaky ass pictures with Joe and Kaylin in the strip club, and she's like pulling on strippers' G-strings and feeling on her titties, and I'm like, this is a girl who's freaky enough to have that threesome to keep her man. So once again, I would like to say I was right. And then Tyree in this episode, she also said, "Yeah, do you know he asked me for a threesome?" So last episode she was like, "Oh, he's joking." This episode she's like, "Yeah, it's for real." Well, we've got a blind item from Bossip. Now, you'll probably come to the same conclusion that I have. It's like, which Latina on Love and Hip Hop New York is pregnant? And here are the clues. Homegirl has worked with, and they cross that out, been with more than a few rappers and isn't afraid to kiss and tell. Winter had a book out. Then she's also not afraid to make a friend into a frenemy. She had L'Oreal come down for the reading of the book, and then, had a whole chapter on her. And, but who knows, maybe those hormones are what made her so hostile. Then they got into a huge fight. Erica Mena dropped her single. The artwork for it is out there now. It's a little heavy-handed to me. And it's also a cross between, I don't know what you're trying to convey to me. She's crying, it looks like, and the mascara's running down real heavy. But it's overkill, it's too much. Just like Erica. The whole shit's just too much. And then she's got her titties out, and so it's like, what am I supposed to be looking at? I can't focus. Do I look at the titties, or do I look at the mascara? Because it's a mess. It looks awful. Need a better makeup artist to make that shit look a little real and know that you're not caking it on like a drag queen. And then finally, we have on Tattletales.com. So the sites I went to is straightfromtheA.com, Bossip, and Tattletales.com. I checked a few other sites, but they didn't have a lot of Love and Hip Hop gossip. Tattletales. Now, on Love and Hip Hop, we're getting a lot of Mendices and Yandy, their romance. And, it's hard to really watch this romance because it looks more like a tragedy. Now, we know early on in the season, Mendices was accused of child molestation, and he was going up for those charges, which he beat. And now, I'm going to read to you the article, what the article said in Tattletales.com, which is, Mendices is in court again. The star of the popular VH1 hip-hop show could face a mandatory minimum sentence of 20 years in prison if convicted of federal drug conspiracy charges. Mendices Harris has pleaded not guilty in federal court in Rochester on Friday to a drug conspiracy charge. Because of a previous 2001 drug conviction in Maryland, Harris faces a 20-year mandatory sentence if convicted for the federal charges in New York. Harris is one of the 3 New York City men accused of roles in a pipeline of heroin and cocaine to the Rochester region. Ronald Walker and his brother, Tyrus Harris, were arrested last year and are in jail awaiting trial. Prosecutors allege the 3 trafficked more than $2.5 million in drugs between 2005 and August of 2012. So there you have it. They got this romance. He's about to propose to Yandy, and his ass is facing 20 years in jail. Yeah, it's more tragedy than romance. But that's my gossip for, this episode. And hopefully you will stick with me and watch my Real Housewives of Atlanta review, as well as my next episode of Love and Hip Hop review. Peace.